Hello, and what is going on today, guys? Tomcat here, and today we are back in Forza Horizon 2, seeing if a Chevy Bel Air will off-road. So I decided to do an off-road build on this car because it was a little bit of a different thing that's, it's like you don't really see these classic cars, these classic, almost wouldn't say muscle cars, but like classic American cars get built into off-roaders, especially in Forza. It's not really a common thing. So I was like, well, let's try to do something that's not common. Let's try to do something that's a little bit on the weirder end of the spectrum per se, even in comparison to the fact that my last episode was an off-road LaFerrari, which is it's weird in and of itself. But I feel like this has got a little bit more to it, a little bit more character to it, especially because of the fact that we put a crazy taxi design on it. And side note, I used to be like a huge fan of that game. I remember that game being super fun. And then I went back and played it again like years later. And I was like, wow, these graphics are like really, really, really dated. And they're really, really, really bad in comparison. But the game was still fun. That's the thing. The game was actually still fun. The gameplay lived on. So sometimes graphics don't always mean that a game might fall behind. If you've might fall behind. If you've got really, really good gameplay, your game just might stand the test of time. Now, this particular car, I decided to take the approach of when I got to sway bars, I was like, I almost bought the race one, but then I realized it didn't come with sway bars at all from the factory, and so I just left them off, which might be a little bit of a weird kind of thing to do. But I figured, well, it's going to be an off-road build. I want a little bit of body roll so I can kind of use it to throw the car in and out of corners and actually like throw it around. But I think the thing is, you could add sway bars and then make them full soft. But I was like, nah, you know what? No sway bars, none whatsoever. Now, an early on decision of mine was to convert it to all-wheel drive. Bring in a modern 6.2 liter V8, twin turbocharge it, and then, like I said, do an all-wheel drive conversion. Now, the all-wheel drive conversion was mainly targeted to the fact of putting the power down. Because if we're going to do a twin turbocharged 6.2 liter V8, we're going to put down so much power that the rear wheels would not be able to hook it up on dirt. They would be able to maybe by the time you got to 5th or 6th gear. But anything before that would have just been wheel spin. You can forget. It would have been wheel spin on pavement up until like 4th gear probably. So, wheel spin on dirt, probably 5th or 6th gear. So that's, like I said, why I went with an all-wheel drive drivetrain swap. And it just made more sense to the way I was building the car. Now, in thinking about it, I'm like, well, I think that in the end, yes, you can build a car, you can set it up however you want, but there are certain ways that, that might be more effective than others. Now, as far as handling goes, I didn't go full wide on the rear. I decided to go a little bit more closer to like, I think I went with a 295 in the rear, because I wanted to keep it somewhat of a squared off stance. I didn't want to be ultra staggered, so I could have some really nice, really good turn in. And it actually kind of worked out that way. It worked out pretty well. So the wheels that I put on it I just wanted something that was kind of a classic look, kind of like a tough classic look that could withstand, or at least in my mind, withstand the idea of going off-road. Which I don't know if these wheels could or not. They're not off-road. They're not technically off-road wheels. They're not like method race wheels or anything like that. They're not bead locked. But at the same time, they don't really, they don't really have that kind of stuff in Forza. Now, maybe eventually, though, that'd be super cool. I don't know if they would put bead locks in, but, maybe some off-road style wheels, like just for trucks or something like that you could put on, like, the Ram Runner or something. Ram Runners, Raptors, that kind of stuff. And I think that would be kind of fun. I think that would be kind of cool. Especially if they were to ever add diesel trucks into the game. I would love that. I would love that so much. Like, to be able to build my truck in Forza and then, like, take it off-road and jump the thing and do all sorts of crazy stuff with it. I would love that. I really, really would. I think it would be a super fun addition to the game, especially if we find some, like, some off-road circuits and stuff like that. That would be even more crazy. So, it's all speculation right now. We don't know. Nobody knows yet. But, damn, dude, I feel like my mind is running now. I'm like, that would be so much fun. It really would. It would just be so much fun to get that stuff into the game and actually, use it. Now, I think we're pretty much done with the build at this point. We're going to head out and test the car. And we didn't do this on Storm Island. I did this back on the mainland because I wanted to be able to kind of vary it between dirt and pavement. Just because of the fact that I wanted to see how this thing actually did on pavement, you know, comparison-wise to how it did on dirt, because this is not a pavement-focused build at all. It's definitely not focused on that, but I will say that it's a riot on pavement. It's stupid on pavement, but at the same time, you know, it's like, it's not necessarily, what am I trying to say? It's not necessarily the best thing to drive when it comes to pavement. It rolls and yaws all over the place, and leans, and, you know, it's not controlled really at all as far as, like, its body motions. But, I don't know, it's a fun car, it's a cool car to drive, and it's like when you get it out on pavement, it just slides. It slides so much with these rally tires that it's very difficult to control, actually. It's very difficult to control when it comes to pavement. And even if you back it in, you sometimes have trouble keeping it out of the wall, which you'll see that in this video, because it does go either really, 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 really close to the wall or all the way into the wall. Which it almost happened here. It almost did, but we were able to kind of pull back to the side, and it was like, no, you know, it's not too bad. And then I was like, well, wait a minute, maybe it kind of sort of is, because it's like, it just keeps sliding, right? It just keeps sliding. It keeps sliding until it either hits a tree or hits a wall, but it's actually awesome for jumps because it's got so much suspension travel. The suspension is just like, it's super bouncy and super soft, so it just absorbs jumps super, super well. Although here, I was trying to back it in, and boom, right into a tree. Right directly into a tree, and then right directly into another one. So, again, it takes some getting used to. It takes some getting used to control it, that's for sure. Now, I feel like the next build in this series is probably going to be... I'm going to do another supercar, but I'm not sure which supercar to do. I want it to be something that, like, you would never think would get anywhere near dirt. Like, something that you would have to be crazy to even, like, take it on gravel. So, I want to do something that's sort of along the lines of something that you, like, if you saw this going off-road, you would just, like, either be scratching your head or either be thinking that that person is the biggest moron for taking it even anywhere close to dirt. So, that's what I want to try next. Something, you know, stupid and crazy, and I'm sure there'll be lots of suggestions for that in the comment section below. But once you take this onto the gravel, it actually handles itself pretty well because you can use the all-wheel drive to power out of corners, and you can kind of use the body roll to your advantage because you can use it to swing the back end of the car, or really even the back end, the front end, around and kind of get these nice slides going back and forth through corners. So, and if you start throwing the e-brake in there, then it gets even more fun. Which, I mean, once the e-brake is part of the deal, you're golden. You're golden and you're good to go. Now, remember how I said that it was good for jumps? Oh, it is. It is all right, as long as you don't hit a tree halfway through and then bounce and roll and completely destroy yourself, which did happen a couple of times. I'm not gonna lie, it did, but it's not necessarily all bad that it did, so I'm okay with it, I think. I'm okay with it for now, for now. We may actually update this build in the future, because out of a lot of the off-road builds that I've done, this is definitely one of the most fun ones, in my opinion. It's one of the most fun ones to drive. It's one of the most fun builds to actually use, in my personal opinion. I've been really enjoying it. So the biggest thing is when you get it down here in, like, the dry riverbed, dry lake bed, whatever you kind of want to call it. Again, the way it handles bumps, I really like. But the way it just doesn't sometimes get the grip that I feel like it needs. I also need to make 6th gear longer because it bangs off the rev. I had it banging off the rev limiter down here in, like, the dried up riverbed in 6th gear. It's just like like at the top of, like, maybe 157 to 159, like 160 miles an hour. It just bangs off the rev limiter. Like, that's all it does. It just bangs off the rev limiter. So, I mean, the thing is, though, whenever you go to jump it, you're like, that's what this was meant to do. And I think the Crazy Taxi design on it might just help just a little bit. It just might a little bit, give it a little bit of a hand with that. Now, as far as my next build, like I said, it's going to be a supercar. It's going to be something crazy, but I hope you guys did enjoy this build. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. Tell me in the comment section down below what you guys thought of it. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more. And I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. And I am so psyched for Horizon 3. I just had to sneak that little bit in there at the end to tell you guys how excited I am to get my hands on Horizon 3, get in the game, and really just start having an amazing time with it. So again, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to you guys later.